This is rock solid TV, uncensored history, unfiltered truth, unshakable faith. We're diving into a book of the Bible so ignored, most modern Christians don't even know it exists. It's not quoted on mugs. You won't find it in your pastor's 3-point sermon on how to live your best life now. And no, it's not in the 365 inspirational verses for women devotional either. We're talking about Nahum. That's right. No, not Nathan, not Nehemiah, Nahum. This little 3-chapter prophecy is packed with the kind of judgment, fire, and righteous fury that would make most Sunday morning churches cry in their skinny jeans. It's the kind of book that reminds you God doesn't mess around, and neither should you. Let's crack it open and look at why this forgotten prophecy is more relevant now than ever. Who even was Nahum? Nahum shows up like a lightning bolt and disappears just as fast. His name means comfort, which is hilarious considering the entire book reads like a divine hit list. God sends him to Nineveh, the same city that got a second chance back in Jonah's day. Remember that? The big fish, the repentance, the sackcloth and ashes. Yeah, that didn't last. They cleaned up their act for 5 minutes, then dove headfirst back into bloodshed, empire worship, and torturing people for sport. So now it's Nahum's turn, and he's not handing out self-help advice. He's delivering a sentence. Nineveh, the bully empire. Nineveh wasn't just bad, they were Olympic-level evil. Torture? Routine. Mass executions? Standard. Ripping babies from wombs? Assyrian public policy. They were the original cancel culture, only instead of banning you, they just burned your city to the ground and hung your king like a dog, and everyone feared them. No one dared fight them. Until one day God said, "I'm done." The God no one wants to talk about. Nahum chapter 1 doesn't open with hugs, it opens with holy fire. The Lord is jealous, the Lord is furious. The Lord will not acquit the wicked. Not exactly the flannel graph version of God you were given in 3rd grade Bible class, you know, the one who looked like Santa with a dove on his shoulder. Yeah, Nahum's God is the one who makes mountains tremble and burns the earth like straw. This is not the soft, passive God of modern megachurch sermons. This is the God who says enough. This is the judge of nations. And Nineveh is next. How Nineveh falls, spoiler, badly. Nahum doesn't just declare the fall of Nineveh, he details it, step by step. Flood breaches the wall, soldiers panic, queen gets dragged off, city gets burned. This wasn't symbolic, poetic, or open to interpretation. It happened, exactly like Nahum said. In 612 BC, Babylon and the Medes pulled up to Nineveh like it was a demolition party. And just like that, the walls came crashing down. The river literally tore through the city's defenses. And the best part? Historians say Nineveh was so thoroughly destroyed that for centuries no one even knew where it had been. God didn't just wipe it out, he deleted it from the map. Why pastors avoid this book like the plague? Let's be honest, Nahum is not seeker-friendly. It doesn't come with a 5-step guide to better marriage or a Bible study for brunch. It comes with heat. Churches don't read it because it destroys the soft, sanitized version of God they're trying to sell. Nahum reminds us that God doesn't just judge individuals, he judges nations. And if you're sitting in a country that's neck-deep in sin, child sacrifice, arrogance, and rebellion against God, this book should make you sweat a little. What Nahum teaches us. So what do we learn from this forgotten prophet? First, God is slow to anger, but he's not indefinitely slow. Eventually, the timer runs out. Nineveh had its Jonah moment. They repented, God gave them a century of grace, and then they blew it. Second, Nahum proves no nation is too big to fall. Nineveh had walls 100 feet high, armies that conquered the world, and a reputation for terror. But when God says it's over, it's over. Third, justice matters to God. The Assyrians were cruel. They crushed the innocent, mocked God, and boasted in their power. And God dropped the hammer. Meet your mirror. Now let's step on some toes. America has had its Jonah moment too. We've had awakenings, revivals, second chances, mercy on mercy. And what have we done with it? We legalized the killing of the unborn. We replaced prayer with pride parades. We silenced the gospel and platformed wickedness. We think our military and economy make us invincible. Nineveh thought that too. Nahum's voice echoes across time. You are not untouchable. You are not above judgment. God versus empire. Nahum isn't just about one city. It's about how God deals with every arrogant empire that thinks it can replace him. Nineveh trusted in walls, Babylon trusted in wealth, Rome trusted in might, and America? We trust in our own self-importance. But God doesn't care how many tanks you have or how woke your commercials are. When he says the nation falls, it falls. The God who judges and saves. Here's the twist. In the middle of all the fire and fury, Nahum writes something wild. The Lord is good, a stronghold in the day of trouble. He knows them that trust in him. Wait, what? Right in the middle of Nineveh's execution order, God still says, if you trust me, I'll shelter you. This is the character of God. Yes, he judges. Yes, he burns the wicked, but he always protects his remnant. Even when empires fall, his people stand. Why Nahum matters now. Nahum matters because the world we live in is looking more like Nineveh every day. We are watching nations descend into chaos. Arrogance is at an all-time high. Sin is not just tolerated, it's celebrated, and yet the church is silent, afraid to speak, afraid to offend, afraid to sound like Nahum. But here's the truth. The church was never meant to be safe. It was meant to be prophetic, and prophets don't sugarcoat fire. The comfort of justice. Nahum's name means comfort, and it makes sense when you get the full picture. To the oppressor, Nahum is a death sentence, but to the oppressed, he is a comfort. He declares that God sees what was done. He will not forget the injustice. He will not ignore the cries of the victims. Nineveh thought their sins were buried. God dug them up and wrote them in flames. Final warning. So here it is. The forgotten prophecy of Nahum is not just ancient history. It is a prophetic template. A divine case study in how God deals with corrupt superpowers. We can pretend it doesn't apply to us. We can skip past it and go back to Jeremiah 29:11 and bumper sticker Christianity. But the truth is, we are living in a Nahum moment. The question is, are we listening? You want to know the God of the Bible? Read Nahum. You want to know what happens when nations mock God, kill innocents, and worship power? Read Nahum. You want to understand the times we're living in? Read Nahum. Then read it again.